Quick little kind of reference video for myself, but in case anyone else is pulling the radiator from their 98 to '02 Crown Vic. Honestly, this probably applies to the newer Crown Vics as well, but Crown Vic, Grand Marquis, Lincoln Town Car, all that jazz. The trick with these radiators is getting the trans cooler and power steering cooler and condenser off of the radiator to pull it. So getting to the radiator is easy. You remove this top panel here, that guy there, and then you've got a real simple two brackets, one here and one right there that hold the radiator in. Pull those off. Radiator shroud comes off pretty easy. It is 2 bolts, one there and one there, and the fan sits in the notch slot there and there. So those 2 bolts come out, it comes up and off. Remove the plug, which can be done through this access hole. You basically take a screwdriver, press in there to press the clip, and pull. So that part is pretty straightforward. We'll remove this rock that has probably lived in this car for 20 years. But that part's pretty straightforward. What I wanted to show you are these notches here. So right here, right there, right there, and right there. And basically the AC, or the trans cooler and power steering cooler sits. It's not, sorry, let me take that back. The AC condenser is screwed in here and here. The trans cooler is not. It just mounts, clips in right there, and on the matching side right there. So the trick is if you just take the radiator while it's in the car and you just pull up, you're bringing all these with you and it's not going to come out. So what you have to do is get this here. Let's see if I can do it without gloves, without cutting myself. There we go. So get this kind of up and unlatched from there. Now the trans cooler I found was the easy part. The tough part was the AC condenser. But what I did is take this, again, be mindful of your lines. We've got lines from the, I might be mistaken, but I believe that's the trans cooler lines that goes on the upper portion here, and these are to the power steering pump. Might be incorrect there, but anyways, let's call them cooling lines. Be careful of the angle you put those at, but I take this cooler here and I bring it up to about this level. I don't want to do it with one hand and mess up the lines any, but then you got to take the condenser here and get that at a similar angle. And what I found, easier with 2 people, but you can access it from the front here. So be careful to not bend the fans, or the fins, or whatever you're going to call them. But then I kind of pick this up as well. Now, both of these are not, once you've got a bolt here and a bolt there on the other side, that again matches with that. So once those 2 bolts are out, these are not mounted to anything besides those 2 clips on the radiator. So you're going to take this guy, come up and forward, up and back with it, I should say. Condenser as well. Now the condenser, again, being the tricky part, be patient with this one, but the goal is to bring it up. And when I'm bringing up, my goal is to take the radiator and come back towards the car. So these come up, condenser, radiator comes back. And again, what you're doing is unseating it from this and then bringing the radiator towards the back of the car and up. It's easier said than done, and I wasn't able to take a video when I removed it, but that's kind of the gist of it. At first, I got the trans cooler out and I thought, oh great, let's do it, let's pull it. Not realizing that the condenser also sits there. So you can see as well, they're kind of at an angle. So the part kind of comes down and almost back a bit. So again, you want to get these up. This guy here, bring it up. AC condenser behind it, bring it up as well. This piece has a bit more play in it because of those rubber lines where the AC condenser is on those fixed metal lines. Now granted, they're rubber a little bit further back, but you don't want to bend them too much. So I also found, personally, I removed the air box. It gave me some more left and right movement with the radiator here, and it's really easy to pull. To be honest, if I was doing this again, I'd pull the battery as well. It seems kind of unnecessary, but one of the tabs that held me up a good amount or one of the portions was the radiator kind of sits underneath this ledge, and you can see it got all scuffed up. It's a old battery, but with the battery out, the radiator would have had a little bit easier of a time coming up and out. So, you know, most people probably wouldn't remove the battery. I didn't in this case, and I was able to get it out. But if I was to do it again, you know, I'd pull the battery in the airbox personally. So, yeah, that's getting the radiator out. You know, I'm gonna be saving this little line here. Obviously, I'll probably pull that off right after the video. Yeah, I mean, the new radiator, getting that in. I'm not 100% of how I'm going to be doing it, but most likely I'll kind of set the radiator down, you know, inch or two back from its proper spot, and then see if I can pick these up and set them back down into those latches. So, yep, that's the radiator on the good old 4.6.